from Europe right now on the phone is Jonathan Sacerdoti, I-24 News European correspondent. All this information trickling in. If indeed, Jonathan, this is what appears to be a coordinated attack, how is Europe waking up to this morning, just a week after a massive sweep of terrorists or their affiliate assailants being grabbed and put in jail, and yet this is happening? How is Europe going to contend with this? Jonathan, how is Europe going to contend with this?
If this indeed is further attacks from ISIS on Europe, then it's a clear message that even with the arrests that took place this week and the victorious press conferences showing that the intelligence services are able eventually to catch up with terrorists, the terrorists still have further networks out there, with the possibility of terrorism striking on Brussels airport and now in the heart of political Brussels at Malbec metro station and possibly Schuman metro station in Brussels. Both of these metro stations, some reports saying there has been one or more explosions taking place there. These are at the heart of political Brussels. These are the stations that are used by all of those involved in the EU institutions. They're right in that centre of the EU. No clearer signal could be sent if these are confirmed of an attack on Europe and the heart of Europe in Brussels. So this is monumental news today, and people are waking up across Europe to the news that further attacks are taking place. Those pictures of people flooding out of the airport building, the windows smashed, the people screaming. Once again, those images that send fear into the hearts of Europeans that there is a war going on the land in Europe, possibly motivated from the Middle East, as yet unconfirmed who and what exactly happened here. But it seems highly likely that this is more of the same that we've been seeing over recent years.
Yeah, Jonathan, staying with this, and very well put, highly likely that this is a coordinated terror attack. Initial reports out of Belgian media also report fatalities at the metro station as well. But once again, these are initial reports. As we mentioned, there are now reports coming out that in Molenbeek, at the metro station there, supposedly another explosion and smoke is also seen from that station. That all simultaneously to these two explosions heard earlier on, approximately an hour ago, in the Brussels International Airport in Belgium, as Jonathan Sacerdoti just said, a hub, one of the headquarters, so to speak, for NATO, and one could say also the capital of Europe in many ways. And Jonathan, as you're looking at these pictures, and obviously this is coming on the heels of several months, if not a year, of terror attacks, Europe contending, and if these are coordinated attack, which at this point in time they appear to be, Europe at this point in time could step up what? Because we're looking at a terror alert in Brussels right now that has just shot up through the roof and is the highest terror level. What can Europe do at this point?
If indeed these are, as they seem to be, coordinated terror attacks taking place in Brussels, it seems clear that there's been another enormous failure of intelligence. People generally rely on and tend to think that the intelligence services are able to protect them from the infiltration of terrorists into the hearts of their city. Now, being able to strike on an international airport like Brussels and also on the metro network within Brussels at the heart of the EU institutions in particular, the choice of that station showed really, if those are confirmed reports, that this was a strike on Europe itself, a symbolic strike, then there is great concern that there is not enough being done in order to foil these attacks, that the networks existing within Europe of jihadis possibly trained in Syria and the Middle East by ISIS, that they are managing to operate under the radar, that despite those arrests taking place in recent days, there are still people out there able to put together bombs, presumably from the kinds of products that one can buy over the counter within Europe, nail polish remover and things like this. These were the trademarks of the explosives used in the November attacks in Paris. Traces of these explosives were found in all of the sites related to those attacks, and including the apartments where the siege happened in Saint-Denis, and also the apartments where the recent arrests were made in Brussels. So again, if we will find eventually that the same sorts of materials were used in these explosions, in these terror attacks taking place now in Brussels, then we'll be able to piece together the jigsaw and assume that there are more people, more networks, and more connections back to the Middle East where the training in order to how to make these bombs takes place. And that will be a bad sign for Europe and a bad sign for the intelligence community, because it will show once again a failing in being able to keep one step ahead of the terrorists.
Jonathan, do stay with us. We're going to go live now to Brussels.